the string, shook my hand, no was all he said. Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, yeah. Put the load right on me. Hey there friends, how's it going? This is David Potts with Song Notes, and I'm excited to finally be giving a lesson to you for The Wait by the band. Such a classic song. Many of you have requested this one over the years. I'm excited to teach it. I made this 4-pager sheet music for you. It teaches you everything you need to know. It has all the lyrics and stuff on page 1, but check this out. On the rest of the pages, I'll give you the goods on how to actually learn this song. For example, looking at the verse, we just have this one progression, the A to C sharp minor to D to A. That repeats about 4 times for each verse. I'll talk about that, talk about the strumming and the chord progression and everything. But later on in my sheet music, I'll talk about 2 things in depth, right? One is this walk down, right? At the end of the chorus. It's a distinctive part of this song. It gives it a lot of the feel, and there's a lot of ways to play this. You could use basic open chords, you could get complex with your G sharp bass note, or you could use triads and double stops, which might sound confusing, but these are actually easier to play, I think, than a lot of the more complicated A over G sharp voicings you might use, and it just makes it fun to play. That's the cool part about this. So I'll talk about that, and also on the 4th page of my PDF, I'll talk about this intro. Now this is a little riff that's perplexed me for years, but recently I sort of realized it's all about this one chord shape. You put your hand in this one chord shape, then it's just a matter of adding and removing notes, and it just becomes a lot easier and a lot more manageable to play. And as always, I'll walk you through it step by step with a few different tabs. So now you can get this sheet music as well as some of the other instructional lessons I've made that have some PDFs as well. You know, walk downs in the key of A or your A major cheat sheet. Those are all available through my website, playsongnotes.com. You can learn more. The sheet music is licensed and legal. It's available for sale through a separate site. If you're a Patreon member of mine, you get a 50% off discount code. And you also get, if you're a Patreon member, access to my instructional PDF library. All of it. It just comes with membership. So check that out. It supports me and it keeps these lessons coming. But let's get into this lesson. I'll show you how to play the weight. I'll start with the simple stuff and I'll get into some of the more complicated stuff a bit later on. So thanks again to all of you who have requested this, all of you who are supporting me through membership. And with that, let's get into the lesson and I'll see y'all on the other side. Let's go. All right, y'all. So let's kick this one off looking at the chord shapes we're going to need and then also the chord progressions that this song uses, right? That's the order that the chords are played throughout this song, how long to spend on each chord and all that stuff. Now, the chord shapes, really quick. You see these tabs here, right? These chord names. When you see A, D, and E, that should be a clue that we are in the key of A major, right? That is the 1, the 4, and the 5 in the key of A major. We're also going to have our C sharp minor and our F sharp minor, right? The only actual chord from the key of A we're missing here is B minor. So we're actually using almost all of the common chords in the key of A. You can get my key of A major cheat sheet on my website. If you're a Patreon supporter, that's available to you to help you sort of learn these. But anyway, we have our A. You will need, if you want, a common way is to put flourish on that A to an A sus4, just, you know, 3rd fret of the 2nd string. We'll come back to that in a little bit. The D and the E are very straightforward. Now it's the C sharp minor that I want to spend some time with here. Just a minute. If you can't do this version, right? And for clarity, what this is I'm barring the 4th fret with my index finger and then I'm playing this sort of A minor shape, right? The same shape you do in A minor, just slid up to the 5th and 6th fret. Okay, that's a C sharp minor. You also might think of it as just a B minor that is 2 frets higher. Okay, it's your C sharp minor. Now, if you can't bar, if you can't do this chord, you have a few options here. One is just to take the A minor shape, just these 3 fingers. Don't worry about the bar. Literally just play the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. And the cool part is if you leave the open thinnest string in there too, it sounds fine because this high E string is effectively already being played by the 5th fret of the 2nd string, right? So this is a sort of cheap way to play the C sharp minor. It's not as full. You don't get that nice C sharp bass note, but you do get an easy open way to play the C sharp minor. Okay, so that's your little trick there. I have that on my sheet music here. But yeah, these are the chords we're going to need. And the F sharp minor, I'll come back to that a little bit later in the walk down section. That's the only time we're going to need that chord. And I have some shortcuts for the walk down which avoid that shape entirely. Now, the progressions, right? The verse and the chorus are the 2 sort of chord progressions we'll use in this song. This is the order the chords are played and how long we stay on each chord. So for the verse, it's going to be 4-measure sequence that just repeats and repeats for each line, right? It's going to be A for 1 measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. C sharp minor, then to D, then to A. Then you repeat the whole thing, right? So if I counted that, A, 3, 4, C sharp minor, 2, 3, 4, to D, 2, 3, 4, to A, 2, 3, 4, right? And you could sort of just do a single down strum on the 1 count and sing along if you wanted to, right? I pulled into Nazareth, was feeling about 1/2 dead, looking for a place where I can lay my head. You could count it to A, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The little trick here, if you want to add a little bit of flourish on that final A, you can do the, I'm just sort of adding that little A sus4 at the end there. So A, 2, 3, 4, C sharp minor, 2, 3, 4, to D, 2, 3, 4, A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so that's all we're going to need for the entire verse, right? Just that one progression. Nice and straightforward. Again, if you want to use the simple C sharp minor, you don't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's good enough for the verse. We'll come back to a playthrough later and look at that. Now the chorus of this song, really quick. Basically, 2, 3, 4 from A to E to D, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So what's happening there is we're going to be on the A and the E for two counts each, right? And a count is just, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if we're going to stay in 4/4 time, where we have 4 beats per measure, another way you could count it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free, take a load off Fanny, Okay, now after we play that 3 times, we're going to do this and do 2 strums of the D and let the second strum just ring out. And then we're just going to count out the rest of these measures. So this is going to be 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Then we get to this walk down. Now before we get to the walk down, I want to explain in context what's happening there is on those Ds, you're going to be singing the 3.5 measures. That's the important part here. Is it's we'll do 3.5 full measures. We just do 2 strums of D at the very beginning, and you count that last measure, that 4th measure. It's only 2 counts. So in context, let's do this. Take the load off, put the load right on me. So that's going to become a bit more clear in context. Listen to the song by the band or my playthrough later and just count along. It's hard for me to count and sing and do the harmonies or try to all at the same time. It just won't work. But basically, that's going to be the idea is you're going to do 3.5 measures of that D and just do 2 punches of it, let it ring in that second time, and then do the put the load right on me sort of stuff. Now, the walk down here. I'm going to come back to the walk down a little bit later, but the simple way to play it is we do an A for 2 counts, E for 2 counts, F sharp minor for 2 counts, E, and then D, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3. Again, A to E to F sharp minor to E, D, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'll put that all together in context, but that's basically how long we're going to be spending on each chord. Now, let me talk quickly about strumming here. Before we get to my playthrough, I want to understand your options. Now, if you're just getting started and strumming patterns are new to you and everything, I would recommend just doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You can play the whole song like that, right? I pulled into Nazareth, was feeling about 1/2 dead, right? I'll count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so that's a simple way to do it. You can get used to the chord progression. You could sing along. You could play along with the band, or you could do these muted strums just to get an idea for the feel of timing, right? Now, as far as the full version of the strum, this is one where I recommend using to capture the full band sound. Boom, boom, cha, boom, 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 cha, boom, 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 cha, boom, 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 cha. You don't have that drummer next to you necessarily. So to emulate it, what we're going to do is do some sort of lighter brushes on the thicker strings on the 1 and 2 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 1 and the 2 count, what I have here is favor the 1 to 2 thickest strings. So meaning if this is an A chord, it's 5 strings, right? For those 1 and 2 counts, let's just do, right? The thickest 1, 2, maybe 3 strings. 1, 2, 3. Then on the 3 count, do a full strum, right? That's going to really give it that sort of, that feel like you have that drummer there with you. And then the last 4 and just do light strums on the thinner strings, you know. Down, up, down, up. So if we go through the progression a few times. Down, 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 down. Right? Bass, bass, down. That's another way to say it. Bass meaning we're getting those bass strings. Now don't be too tied down by this. This is just a suggestion, but it's sort of what I have in mind when I strum this song. And this is something you use in tons of songs. Okay? So that's going to give you a lot of mileage there. Now, the thing is, in the chorus, you're going to have to change things up a bit because we have these measures, split measures where there's 2 chords in a 4 count measure. We don't want to do that strum I just showed you in those measures because you're going to sort of shortchange the first chord usually because the first chord's not getting a strong strum. So what I recommend doing is just a bass, down, down, up. You know, a strong down on the 1 count, down, down, up. And then another strong strum on the 3 count. So that would be 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay? 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. But then we're going to go to a normal measure where we do the bass, bass, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, bass, bass, down. In context, that's the most helpful thing. Let's hear that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down, down, up, down, down, up, bass, bass, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, down. Let's add some words though so we get some more context, right? Take a load off Fanny. Take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny. And you put the load right on me. And then in that walk down, same idea where those first 2 measures of the walk down, we have that A, E, F sharp, the E. And I'm going to get to what I just did there, that little strap of the strings and a little bit with the walk down. But that's basically the strumming pattern you'll need, that bass, bass, down, down, up, bass, bass, down, down, up. And put the song on. You can really listen to that, and it's really that 3 count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. You listen to the drummer, that's the sort of emphasized beat in each measure. That's why I suggest this strumming pattern. So I'll show you how that all works when you put it together when I get to a playthrough. But really quick, I want to talk about 2 things to really get the song to the next level. One is the intro, which I'm going to do at the end. But first I want to talk about this walk down, because the walk down's a really important part of the chorus. And I really want to talk about some ways to simplify this and what you should be paying attention to here and what you cannot worry about, right? There's some stuff you can sort of skip and not lose sleep over, and you'll be in good shape. So here's the idea. If you were to play just the full chords for this, right? The A, E, F sharp minor, E, D. Okay, a couple things going on here. Number one, that ending D. What I did there is I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So it's 2 measures of D total, but the idea is we want to do a strum 1, 2, 3, 4, right? There's that second strum of the D comes on the 4 count, so it's happening a bit early, and I like to do a punctuated just silence of the strings, or like a percussive hit on my guitar with the flesh of my hand here, right? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it ring the second measure. That's one thing. And everything I'm about to show you with these 4 variations, you're going to have that in effect. Now, back to the walk down itself. A to E to F sharp minor to E to D. The thing that I have circled here are the inferred or the implied descending bass notes. If you just strum the full strings, that's fine. Strum the full chords. Okay, so what's implied here is this A in the A chord to this G sharp in the E to this F sharp in the F sharp minor to this E in the E to this D. Now, if we look at our key of A cheat sheet that I mentioned earlier in this lesson, these are the notes in the A major scale, right? We have our A, and I mean, really, you could take the A major scale, just in that position down here, 5th and 7th fret. What I just did there is A to G sharp to F sharp to E to D. I just walked down the scale, and that's exactly what the notes we're emphasizing here are. Okay, you hear those notes. Now, when you strum those strings, those chords, you don't necessarily hear those notes, and that's okay. If you're just doing a simple strum version, it's totally fine. You're not going to lose anything there. But I want to introduce that concept to you because if you are able to sort of maybe emphasize those notes through your strumming a little bit, that could be a good thing. But let's look at some other versions of how to play this that are a bit more complicated and also a bit more simple, but just add differences to the sound, but retain this walk-down quality. One is this, what I'm calling an advanced A over G sharp version. I think that's technically what's happening, where we have our A, then we have this A over G sharp. So you're kind of keeping the A up here, but you're adding this G sharp bass note. Now, I don't really ever play this one, but I think just for technical completionist's sake, this is what's going on, where you play with a barred A up here. If you had a monster hand, you could do like a sort of thing down here with your pinky. I don't have that, so keep your bar with your index finger and then add your ring or pinky down here on the 4th fret. Now, I would recommend doing it, if you want to do it like this, do a bass down, up, bass down, up, bass down, up, bass down, up. Now, when we go back to the D, notice how we're having to jump up an octave, right? We're starting with this low A to this G sharp, to this F sharp, to this E. And then we can't go any lower than the low E. So what do we have to do? We have to go up an octave to the lowest possible D in standard tuning is the open 4th string. Okay, so in context, this one would be like, okay, that's one way to play it. On the right here, I have a little addendum in my sheet music here. If you could do an E over G sharp. The easiest way I like to do that is you sort of do middle finger on the 4th fret, you do 2nd fret of the 4th string with your index, mute the 5th string, and then we have 2nd fret of the 3rd string, or 4th fret of the 3rd string. And if you want, you can leave the thinnest 2 strings open. But again, you got to practice this in context. I don't have this one down fluid, so I don't really ever play that, but I'm showing this to you in case it's helpful to you and just to learn. But again, it's the bass notes that really matter here. But here's 2 fun ways to play it that I really love. One is to do this sort of double stop version. And the cool thing about this is you can see those bass notes. Same notes. In all these walkdowns, I'm showing you the same notes. A, G sharp, F sharp, E to D. Okay, so basically 7-6, 6-4, 4-2, 2-1. This is the E, just coming from the E major shape, right? Then to our D, 0-2. That's one way to do it. And another one is to do this sort of triad version, where it's the same idea. Same notes as what I showed you before, but we're sort of pulling triads from these other chord shapes. This chord shape is coming from this A, this E shape A on the 5th and 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th frets. It's just the 2nd, 3rd, 4th string. Then we're going down to this one. This is an E over G sharp. We just take this E major triad. It's like a D shape, right? This D right here, 4-5-4. But we need this G sharp note. But instead of doing this fingering, we're just going to bar it with our index finger and then just do 6, 4, 5 on the 4th, 3rd, 2nd string. You actually don't have to bar it if you want. That's the triad. So this to this. It might be weird at first, but just notice how my ring finger has the 4th string. I go down a fret, and then these 2 fingers swap. And if you want, I have in parentheses, you could do the thinnest string also. And then the F sharp minor, just the thinnest 4 strings of the F sharp minor, or just do the 2nd, 3rd, 4th string. Then we go to the E major, just the 2nd, 4th, and 3rd strings, and then the D. Okay, so that one. Okay, so those are some options for the walk down for you. Lots of fun you can have there, and I'll show you in context. Usually when I play this song, I'll do the walk down once with full chords. Then I'll do one of those like 3rd or 4th versions I showed you, just to sort of give some diversity to what I'm playing, make it sound interesting. So that's how you do the walk down. And lastly, we have the intro. Okay, now the intro to this song is one that I have I struggled with my first 10 years playing guitar. I would see it and I would memorize the notes I'm hitting, but I just didn't understand like where do I put my hand? It didn't make sense to me. It just seemed like random notes they were picking. That's not satisfying, but I'll show you how to play it. The trick to this, and I actually recently did a lesson about reading tabs backwards, and I'm sharing this with you because this is a trick I used in this, when I was learning this in the past month. I used this trick, and in that video, I take the idea of take any tab, and if you sort of compress the notes and you just look at them as a shape, a single shape, that often reveals to you how you should be positioning your hand. So if you look at all these notes in the final version of the tab, ultimately what's in common here is 11, 9, 10. This shape, this is the magic shape. You put your hand in this shape, and then the rest of the intro is just... But those first sort of 3 measures or whatever it was, see how efficient that was with my hand? I wasn't, doing just moving my hands with every pick. I was just sort of keeping it still. Okay, and it just makes it a lot easier. So that's the key, is learning this shape. Now, to learn this, I would show you this figure right here. Okay, first up, we're going to bar the 2nd fret, the 9th fret. I'm sorry, 9th fret on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string with your index finger. Okay. Then you want to get good or comfortable at adding your left ring and left middle on the 11th and 10th frets, respectively, of the 4th and 2nd string. But keep barring. Be able to do this. This is an A major triad, okay? It's coming from the sort of C shape of the A chord, which I can't really do up here, but if you're using the cage chord system, that is the C shape. Now sometimes he's going to do this version. 9, 11, 10. Sometimes he's doing 11, 9, 10. These are the 3 shapes we'll need. If you sort of get comfortable with those, and that might feel weird to you at first, but you spend time with that, you're going to use that in other songs, number 1, and it's going to make the rest of this intro easy. So that's what I recommend doing. Now, if we looked at the riff, just the main notes. Here's the deal, when they play this song, they're doing lots of they're playing 2 strings at once a lot of the time, right? But there's sort of an implied melody here. One more time. Okay, I was just playing 1 string at a time. Okay, so that first cluster is 9 to 11 to 9 on the 4th and 3rd string. Then on 3rd and 2nd string, 9 to 11 to 10. Then back to the 3rd string, 9, 11, 9. Then 4th string of 9, 11, 11. Then we're going to go 7, 9, 9, back to 7. And this ending riff. Okay? That's one way to look at it if you just want to worry about the notes. But when you bring in timing, it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll try to do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, That's the next thing. It's in my sheet music. And then finally we have this double stop version where they're playing 9/9 together, but then you're doing the same hammer on that I already showed you. This is where it's important to get your hand in that shape out of the gate, okay? Okay, then we go back to an A and then we play the intro twice, or play the 2 measures of A. Then you pull into Nazareth and you're feeling about half past dead. And that's how you play the entire song. So that's how you do the intro. So that's how you play the intro to this song. And now let's put it all together with the full playthrough here. Now, if you want to get the sheet music for this, it's at my website. And all the other lessons I mentioned, the Key of A cheat sheet, the reading tabs backwards PDF I mentioned. I have tons of other instructional PDFs. I'm putting out new ones all the time, y'all. You get access to the full library of my instructional PDFs if you're a member. And then for my song sheet music, those are licensed. You don't get them all for just one fee. You have to buy them individually because that's how you do it legally. But they're available at my website. So 4 pages. This is a labor of absolute love. It gives you everything you need. You can get the link at my website. Patrons get a 50% off discount code, which is really, really awesome. So thanks for the support, y'all. Every purchase supports me. The membership is the best way to support me. I really appreciate it. But let's get into a quick playthrough of this one, and we'll be on our way. Looking at The Weight by the band. Let's do it.
Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, yeah. You put the load right on me. Picked up my bag, I was looking for a place to hide. When I saw him coming and the devil walking side by side, I said, hey Carmen, come on, let's go downtown. She said, I gotta go, but my friend can nip around. Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off right on me. Go down as Moses, there's nothing you can say. It's just old Luke and Luke's wait for Judgment Day. Well, Luke, my friend, about young Emily. Well, do me a favor, son, won't you stay, keep Emily company. Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on me. Followed me and he caught me in the fall. He said, I'll fix your rags if you take Jack, my dog. I said, wait a minute, Chester, don't you know I'm a peaceful man? He said, that's okay, boy, won't you feed him when you can? Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, right on me. Catch a cannonball, now take me down the line. My bag is sinking low, and I do believe it's time to get back to Miss Fanny